Among the very first skills you'll need to master as a diver is how to properly assemble your scuba unit. Before we get into that, however, we need to take a minute and talk about scuba cylinder safety. When full, your scuba cylinder contains enough explosive energy to lift a fire truck over 1 meter up in the air. A scuba cylinder that is knocked over or falls over accidentally can suffer catastrophic valve damage. This can lead to a scuba cylinder that's spinning wildly out of control, a literal rocket that can not only damage other items, it can cause very serious personal injury. When you visit your local SDI dive center, you'll most likely see a number of cylinders standing upright. What you may not be aware of, however, is that these cylinders are almost always tucked in a corner or standing with other cylinders up against a wall, where the odds of them being knocked over are fairly slim. One place where you won't see cylinders standing upright unattended is on dive boats. Instead, you'll see cylinders properly stowed securely in special storage racks, or, barring this, lying flat on the deck and blocked so they don't roll. One habit you'll want to develop early on is never leaving a cylinder standing unattended. If you must leave a cylinder unattended, lay it on its side. If you've already assembled your scuba unit, lay it so that the equipment is on top and won't be damaged by the weight of the tank. Before you begin, if you have the opportunity, soak your cam band in water. This will allow it to stretch and reduce the likelihood of the tank accidentally slipping. On yoke-style valves, you'll want to inspect the valve O-ring. You should have a smooth, shiny appearance and not be dried up, cracked, shredded, nicked, or otherwise damaged. Replace any worn or damaged O-rings before continuing. To start, orient the cylinder so that the valve orifice is facing away from you. This helps ensure that the regulator's second stage hoses will be on your right, and the instruments and low-pressure inflator hose will be on your left. Next, slip the BC cam band over the top of the cylinder and lower it into place. The BC should be on the same side of the cylinder as the valve orifice. Position the BC so that the top of the shoulders are roughly the same height as the tank valve. Later, you can check to make sure that the cylinder is low enough so that the regulator doesn't hit you in the head, but high enough so that you can reach back and access both second stage hoses. If need be, you can raise or lower the cylinder at that time, and make a note of this position for future use. To lock the BC firmly in place, pull out as tight as you can on the cam band. Now fold the cam buckle over halfway and insert the tip of the cam band through the tip of the buckle. Once you've done this, fold the buckle over the rest of the way. You should both hear and feel it snap into position. As a final check, push up and down firmly on the cam band to make certain it's as tight as possible. Now remove the dust cap from the regulator first stage and orient the regulator so that the second stages are on the right and the instruments and BC inflator hose are on the left. The first stage should be turned so that the first stage inlet is pointing directly at the cylinder valve outlet. Mate these two openings together and then turn the yoke screw or DIN connector until they are just finger tight. Before going any further, connect the low pressure inflator hose to the BC power inflator. Before turning the air on, pick up the submersible pressure gauge and make sure it's pointing down and away from you or anyone else. When you're ready, turn the air all the way on. Now look at the pressure gauge and confirm that the cylinder indeed has sufficient air for the planned dive. You should next take several breaths from both second stages to confirm that they are functioning properly. While you do this, look at the pressure gauge. The pressure should not be dropping or fluctuating at all while you breathe. If you've not done so already, your final step should be to secure your alternate air source second stage in a proper retainer and to clip off your instrument console or pressure gauge to one of your accessory D-rings so that it won't dangle freely. The last thing you and your buddy should do before entering the water is run through the ABC checklist. This will help ensure that the 3 pieces of equipment most critical to your safety and health are in working order and ready to enter the water. The A in the checklist stands for air. You and your buddy need to reach back and check to make certain that the other's air is turned on. Bear in mind, though, that divers sometimes mistake right from left and accidentally turn a buddy's air off when they think they're turning it on. Therefore, as a backup to this procedure, you should each take several breaths from your regulator while looking at the pressure gauge. The pressure should not fluctuate as you breathe, nor should it drop with each breath. If it does, you need to stop and have your buddy make sure that your air is turned completely on in the right direction. The B in the checklist stands for BC. As a general rule, you'll want to have your BC at least partially inflated before entering the water. As a minimum, you should check to make sure that your inflation and deflation controls are functioning correctly. The C on the checklist stands for computer. Make sure yours is activated, that there is no low battery indicator showing, and if you're diving a gas mixture other than air, that the PO2 setting is correct. That last point is something we cover in greater detail in the Nitrox Diver course. Now you're ready to don the rest of your equipment and enter the water. Even masks that fit properly will occasionally leak. Fortunately, there's a simple method that will allow you to remove any water that gets into your mask without having to surface. If you understand how air, pumped into an inverted glass underwater, displaces the liquid inside, you know how this method works. To practice this skill, you'll need to start with a mask that's either partially or fully flooded. The easiest way to accomplish this is to insert a finger underneath the skirt at the top of the mask. Next, press in with one or both hands at the top of the mask frame. This forms a seal along the top and sides of the mask so that water can only exit out the bottom. While continuing to press in at the top of the mask, begin exhaling a steady stream of bubbles out your nose. If it takes more than just a single breath to get all the water out of your mask, no problem. Use all the air you need. Just before you exhale, the final breath needed to completely clear your mask, look up. This will make the bottom of your mask skirt the lowest point and help you to get all the water out. As a final note, if you wear contacts, keep your eyes closed anytime there's water in your mask. This will help you prevent accidentally losing your lenses. One of the things you'll learn as part of your course is how to deal with a buddy who may be too tired to swim or may be suffering from a leg cramp. If you are at the surface, remember that the first rule is to establish positive buoyancy. If your buddy's unable to do this, you can assist by approaching from the rear and using your buddy's power inflator or orally inflating her BC. Among the easiest ways to tow a tired diver is to use what is known as the tank pull. To do this, you simply grab your buddy's tank valve, lean back, and kick. Its only drawback is that your buddy can't see you. An alternative to the tank pull is the fin push. Here you simply place your buddy's fins on your shoulders, lean forward, and kick. This allows you to maintain eye contact, which can be very reassuring for your buddy. A leg cramp is something you will most likely be able to deal with on your own. All you need to do is grab your fin tip and pull towards you to stretch the affected muscle. It may also help to massage your calf. If, for any reason, you're having difficulty reaching or pulling on your fin tip, your buddy can help you. Leg cramps occur most frequently at the surface. Fortunately, the same techniques that work underwater work equally as well above it. As with so many potential problems, the best way to deal with leg cramps is to prevent them. Avoid the need for long surface swims. Slow down. Take frequent breaks. Periodically, change your kicking style. And above all, stay well hydrated. Dehydration is among the leading causes of muscle cramps.